So today there's a few different topics. One that first one was just great. Absolutely loved it. You can probably read it in the title. First topic, loved it today. Gonna cover that first. Don in the news, yet again. Love exactly what I did. Loved exactly what he did. It's absolutely great. But so let's just get right into it. And if you've noticed, I've been able to get the chat up on the screen for you guys. So now, actually, I have a YouTube channel now. Go follow that. It's the same username that I have. Um, yeah, but go follow that first of all. But just for the YouTube viewers, I wanted to get the chat up. So we have the first thing of the day, which is obviously him going on CNN. Honestly, I think the only reason that they let him on CNN is just to get those boost the ratings back up, because whenever they were covering Trump, their ratings were like really, really, really high. Then whenever he got out of the presidency and they stopped covering him as much, the ratings they dropped significantly, like a lot. And so yeah, they try to report on him as much as they can. And now they have him on the show, the ratings probably go right back up again. So I liked pretty much everything he said, and I noticed just in his tone of voice and the way he acts, he's he's matured a little bit now. I think it's a little weird to start maturing in your 70s, but he's even so still good enough. But yeah, I think he's matured like a lot. So go ahead and watch it.
If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in one day?
First, I'll meet with Putin. I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses.
First of all, the first thing I noticed is that for some reason, well, this is CNN's audience. This is the people that they have hired to be there, who have bought tickets specifically to be at CNN. So you figure, well, they're obviously going to be relatively liberal, but they still clap for Trump, which I thought was interesting. Kind of strange.
They both have strengths, and within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely
Do you
over.
want Ukraine to
Big promise, but I think he's telling the truth there.
win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country.
Very relatable position to the average person in America. Because, the average person in America sees all this war going on. They're like, oh my gosh, some people die. I don't like that. And the average person probably just wants to end it and settle things down and calm things down as soon as possible, which is exactly what he's proposing. He's not saying that he wants either Russia or Ukraine to win, which is honestly a good position. He wants the least people to die as possible, which would actually be a win for Russia, Ukraine, the United States, and just everyone across the world. The less people to die, the better. And so de-escalation, which is exactly what he's proposing here, is the best thing to advocate for, and I think the most relatable thing to the American people specifically. So I'm very glad that he said that. That was a great point from him, because a lot of times, so far in this war, the Democrats for the most part have just been like, yeah, we're gonna, we want Ukraine to join NATO. We want to put all the forces behind Ukraine to absolutely freaking destroy Russia. Well, Russia ain't no joke. They can come back nearly just as hard. So while you're walking on some eggshells, be careful. So, Trump here says his old thing used to be just, if they do that, then I'll just nuke them, which used to actually be a pretty good foreign policy. Him being unpredictable. Some countries he would go pretty light on. Other countries he would go full force on. Unpredictability is a very good foreign policy. And if he were to threaten Ukraine, Russia with some sort of nuke, then Putin probably think there's a 99 or 90% chance he's joking or bluffing, but that 10% chance kind of bothers me, and so he'll be a little more cautious, a little more reserved. So I actually, an excellent move from him. I did like his foreign policy just as much before, though. I think I like this one better, honestly.
Now,
Will you pardon the January 6 rioters who were convicted of federal offenses.
Whoop. Sorry.
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one, because a couple of them probably they got out of control. But, you know, when you look at Antifa, what they've done to Portland and...
So he said that, and now I notice a bunch of clips from the media. They keep framing that as, he wants to take all of them, and back out of jail. And then while they're saying that, they play the clips of people breaking into the Capitol, breaking glass, being really forceful. But the ones that he's talking about are the ones that stood outside the Capitol and were just either barely on the property, outside the property, just next to it, or some of the people who were just on the property, not actually trying to break into the buildings. Because the people that actively try to break into buildings, obviously, common sense, they should have some repercussions. Gotta come up. Do you think we should pardon any? Do you think, well, for the people who, if you're talking about just the ones that have, um, trespassed the property, we shouldn't have been as hard on those specific people as much, because it was some of them were like some older people, some genuinely nice people, but they went a little too far. They got a little out of control. So I wouldn't pardon them completely. Some fines, some something. But the people who were actually in the building trying to break in, yeah, you just broke into a federal building. You're gonna go to jail. But the more ones that were a little more constrained, just a little bit lighter. And then he instantly compares it to BLM, showing the Democrat double standard of, well, Kamala pardoned violent people from BLM who assaulted people and in some cases killed people. So he recognizes a bit of a double standard there. If they were found guilty, why should he pardon them? Well, because maybe he thinks some of them weren't guilty of the things that they were charged of. Yeah, say if some of them were just on the property, it wasn't a good thing, but they put them in like way too far charges. They put them in prison or something crazy like that. Okay, draw that back, but yes, give them some fines. Right? We just need to pull for that section of the people that did that, pull it back a little bit. Be a little more moderate with that. But do you think the courts will know better than Trump in this circumstance? I think I've seen a few charges that I think definitely were unreasonable, and he doesn't completely specify how far he will draw them back, and how far he will pardon them and of which crimes. But generally, if it's what I'm thinking that he means, then yeah, I would agree with that. Because I know he denounces the people that actively went into the building and tried to break in. That no one's gonna support that. And on the day, he did actively say, it's funny because during the interview, the interviewer was like, "Well, didn't you encourage them to go into the Capitol building?" I'm paraphrasing, and then he was like, "Okay, fine, I'll pull out the receipts." He takes out a piece of paper and reads exactly what he says, and it was like a day before he said, "We will be peaceful." So there's really no claiming that he somehow incited it, because he actively said, he didn't even say nothing. He said, "We will be peaceful." If anything, he did the opposite of incite one.
If you look at Antifa, look at what they've done to Minneapolis and so many other places. Look at what they did to Seattle and BLM. Many people were killed. These people.
Of course, that is one mistake that I do think conservatives do too often, is taking something that happened on the conservative side. The Democrats condemn that and complain about that, and then comparing it to pretty much the exact same thing that happened on the Democrat side, that oftentimes happened worse on the Democrat side, that the Democrats kind of ignore, and to show the hypocrisy. And while that is hypocrisy very clearly, that oftentimes the Democrats don't see it as hypocrisy, they see it as a bit more of a hierarchy. What do you say? Real quick. Have you ever heard the saying that hypocrisy is the lowest form of argument? No, I get where you're coming from, because if you do it too much, it just gets kind of cliche. But it does show someone who is maybe not as drawn in to, the leftist ideology. Maybe someone who's a bit more moderately Democrat, like, oh, maybe my party doesn't have, maybe we're not 100% true to our values. Maybe we're not consistent with that. And show it will show them that. But the people who are just completely suck into it, they'll just ignore it because they see it more as a hierarchy rather than hypocrisy.
People, I'm not trying to justify anything, but you have two standards of justice in this country, and what they've done, and I love that question, because what they've done to so many people is nothing, nothing. And then what they've done to these people, they've persecuted these people. And yeah, my answer is I am most likely, if I get in, I will most likely, I would say it will be a large portion of them. You know, they did a very, and it'll be very early on. And they're living in hell right now.
You defended the comments that you made on that Access Hollywood tape about being able to grab women how you want. Do you stand by those comments?
I said if you're famous and rich or whatever I said, but I said if you're a star, you are, and I said women let you. I didn't say you grab, I said women let.
Very true. If you're rich and famous, it does happen then because women like people who are rich and famous. Or even sometimes they'll let you do it because then they'll turn on your back and be like, "Ha, this person did do that thing." So then in the modern age with the whole Me Too thing, sometimes they'll do that even.
You know, you didn't use that word, but if you look, women let you. Now, they said, "Will you take that back?" I said, "Look, for a million years, this is the way it's been. I want to be honest. This is the way it's been. I can take it back if you'd like to, but if you're a famous person, if you're a star," and I'm not referring to myself, I'm saying people that are famous, people that are
You were asked
stars,
in the deposition,
people
do you
that are
consider
rich,
yourself to be a star, and
people
you
that are
said yes.
powerful.
That's honestly one kind of silly move from her is she keeps trying to interrupt him, which if you've ever seen a debate from Trump, like anywhere, you know that interrupting him is just going to make you look stupid. It's going to make you look bad. Because you can't interrupt Trump. You know, he has one good tactic that I would recommend for almost anyone who does debate is if you're talking and you're making your point and then they interrupt your point, well, don't just stop talking and let them run over you. Keep talking over their voice because they're the ones that interrupted you. You don't have to concede to whatever they're trying to say right now. You're trying to make your point and they interrupted. So just keep going, just louder.
They tend to do pretty well in a lot of different ways, okay? And you would like me to take that back? I can't take it back because it happens to be true. Just so you understand, I had every right to do it. I didn't make a secret of it. You know, the boxes were stationed outside of the White House. People were taking pictures of the GSA of the various people.
I got to stop you right there, though, because the Presidential Records Act, which is not well known to a lot of people, I read it. It does not say that you can take documents with you. It says actually that they are the property of the federal government.
You negotiate.
Then I would say, do you denounce what Biden did? To see if she stands strong on her convictions there.
You make a deal, it's not criminal.
Because if you don't remember what Biden did, he did something pretty similar to what Trump did, except for what Trump did is actually, there was technically nothing illegal about it, because he's the president of the United States. He can take whatever documents he can, at any, he can just take whatever documents he wants, he can classify whatever he wants. And so he did that during his presidency, whereas Biden was vice president and did that. And that's not, you can't do that. You have to have permission because you're vice president. You're the guy below the president. So I would ask, what do you think about what Biden did? See what she says about that.
By the way, the Presidential Records Act is not criminal.
Anyways, I liked a lot of most of what he said there. And honest, I notice all throughout it, he doesn't, result and try to insult the other person like he used to do oftentimes, which sometimes was funny, sometimes was off-putting. It kind of varied, but he didn't really default to that, honestly, which I honestly liked, and it shows that he has matured quite a bit, which I can appreciate. Would you trust Trump in the same room as your mother? That's the problem. Yeah, honestly. Fine. Anyways, this is a fun little edit I saw.
What is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Drill, baby, drill. And by the way,
And it's so weird because this is CNN's audience. I assume they've paid people to be here, or people have bought tickets to be specifically at CNN's audience. And if they've done that with CNN, you assume, well, of course, they're going to be a little more liberal. But at the same time, people are celebrating and clapping and whistling for everything Trump says. So, I don't know, maybe... I don't know what's going on with that.
the way he got out of Afghanistan was the single most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
Why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
I'm 26. I'm a veteran. I help manage a private aviation company.
You want a job?
I'd love one, yeah.
I'm looking for somebody very good.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
Again, I loved this answer from him.
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this.
That's so smart, because that's what I think that's what the average American would think. Well, I see all these people dying from both Ukraine and the Russian side, and I don't want people to die. So that's what he's saying, is just the de-escalation of things and to stop people from dying. And if the less people that die, that's a win for both Ukraine, the United States, Russia, and just everyone in the world. Well, more Americans voted for Hillary than Trump, but that's the American system for you. Trump, ace in Ukraine. So, do you respect? You probably don't agree with Trump that the 2020 system was rigged. I understand that, but do you at least respect and acknowledge that he has the right and he is okay if he believes that? Because a lot of times people will say that Russia helped Trump win 2016 election and stuff like that, but then once Trump claims the exact same thing on the opposite side, they're like, he cannot claim that. That is ridiculous. He's not allowed to claim that. Yes, he won with a laser vote, but he won. I accept that. Yes, he won with a lesser vote, but I accept it. Oh, so you mean she won the popular vote? I actually forgot if she won the popular vote. But that's what the Electoral College is meant for. Actually, if that's what you're talking about, is so that the people who are not corrupted by the other people around them, the states that have less population are less densely populated, and whenever you have a state that is more populated, you kind of get into this groupthink, this mob rule, and you feel more scared about differing from the narrative that people want you to espouse. I was just commenting on your observation that Trump was being applauded despite CNN. Oh yeah, a lot of people don't like the Electoral College, which I think I like the Electoral College. Great idea from the Founding Fathers. Well, personally, I believe in democracy. Well, we are do you believe in a republic? Because we are democracy, but we're also a republic. That's what people often forget about, is the republic side.
What do you weapons
I was
and
impeached
funding?
by a crazy woman named Nancy Pelosi.
But the question here is, would you give Ukraine?
The country is being destroyed by stupid people, by very stupid people.
You once said that using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge just could not happen. You said that when you were in the Oval Office.
That's when I was president.
So why is it different now that you're out of office?
Because now I'm not president. Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
you
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
It really was a MAGA rally. Oh yeah, even the Democrats are recognizing that, yeah, this was a good thing for Trump. CNN should not have done this, which I honestly think they did it probably for the ratings.
Let me just be very clear. What we saw tonight was outrageous.
And the falsehoods kept coming.
Hello, darkness.
I would support Trump on foreign policy. I would prefer him, except for his prevented behavior. I don't want Biden at all. I can respect the crap out of that. Yeah. I have to ask: DeSantis or Trump? I can probably guess what you already think, but personally, I'm honestly split. And also, say hi to YouTube. I just created a YouTube channel the other day. I'm probably gonna post this as a clip to my YouTube channel. Go check it out. It's the same username as my Twitch name.
Smile, friend.
DeSantis is pro-Ukraine. Yeah, I mean, I can respect that too. Russia is go do something productive. This can be productive, actually. I believe I actually got one of my first $5 the other day. My first donation ever, $5. That was great. But this can be productive. It can be more productive than most jobs, surprisingly. I think you'd be surprised, honestly. The best Twitch streamers get millions of dollars. All politicians lie to you. Politics is a rigged game. You aren't in charge. Your vote means nothing. Well, that's a very depressing worldview, sir. That's a very depressing worldview. All politicians lie to you. Generally, I would say that's true for the vast majority of them. Some have a better record than others, but generally, yeah, I'd say that's true. Politics is a rigged game. That's true in some word of the sense, yeah. I would definitely agree with that for sometimes. You aren't in charge. I would also agree with that sometimes. Your vote means nothing. I would not agree with that. I do not think it means nothing. We can sway the country from one side to the other. Do you have the money to lobby? I do not have the money to lobby. I actually work at church on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Then your opinion means nothing to politicians. I mean, we have a vote. And we can use it. And saying that just discourages people from voting at all. So no matter what side you're on, I do not think you should say that. That discourages people from voting. And then your side's definitely not going to win. You elect puppets you think represent you, paid for by corporations. Partially, I think that would be true. Vote for crap bag A or crap bag B. Well, I think one is definitely better than the other. It's the same bag of crap. No. I mean, there's obviously a mix. Some are better than others. Generally, I would vote Republican. It's definitely better than Democrat policies of flooding in millions of illegals, and they're both selling you out, and you're too stupid to realize it. Generally, yes, there is corruption on both sides, but one side is undoubtedly better than the other. Generally. And it's